My name is Officer Michael Tuchisky. I do not wish to disclose my address. I am requesting an exit interview on May 20th, either shortly in front of or directly behind Officer Knox's. Can we have a motion, please have my exit interview on the same day as well?
He's employed by the town of East Troy.
I was employed by the town of East Troy. I no longer am. As of, I believe it was April 16th of this year, I would love to have an exit interview. I was not offered an exit interview upon my separation from the department. So I would like one as well, please.
First of all, I think Attorney Mills mentioned, and actually so did Craig, that, that's not a requirement, it's not in our work policy.
Nope, I'm correct, I understand.
Yep, and we have at times done some, and I was trying to remember in the 16 years here if I ever attended one.
Okay.
And I think Sergeant Schmidt had a short one, and I think, Barb reminded me, I think Mr. Wilson, Matt Wilson, but I was out of town, because I remember doing one for Matt Wilson. So we don't do that many, but if you're requesting one, we can put that on the agenda to discuss that next month. Okay? How long have you, were you here?
2 years, sir. So I'm not able to have it on the 20th, just to expedite this whole process. Just you guys, figure you guys were all here, I could easily just. Officer Knox would have his interview, I would be outside, and then when he's done, I would then have my interview, and then be done as well.
Alright, well, to me, that's.
Make a vote on it.
And who's your, union rep was?
Me, myself, and I.
Okay. Well, we can't take any action on that tonight, at all, but I do say that we will put on the agenda next month to have that discussion, and the board will make a determination whether to do it or not. The request, and again, if you talk about open door, that's one of the things that, I was worried about by many people was that, an open meeting, for, employees that leave, that's a tinderbox, okay? There's various reasons for it.
Correct.
And you may have reasons why you're requesting one, so we'll put that on the agenda for next month, Kim, to have a discussion on whether or not to.
This is what transparency is about.
Are we not?
Yeah, remember you
guys,
talked about transparency?
Are you guys not able to have it today during new business? That way, next month, when old business comes around, everyone's in.
They can't
Why not
take
do
action.
it on the 20th?
Right, they're gonna put you off.
It's gonna be noticed,
Okay,
okay?
appreciate your time.
We'll definitely, bring it up, okay?
Right, thanks,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you.
They delayed 3 months.
Be ready to be canceled.
All right,
Yeah. This way.
put name and address.
Cheryl Seamers, N 8766 Hilburn Mill Road. You guys should be ashamed of yourself. You really should. I am very disappointed in my town. Very disappointed. You have a wonderful officer with Officer Knox. I come from a long line of family police officers, son, sister, sister-in-law, all military. And you guys letting him go with everything going on after 24 years of wonderful service, shame on you. You should have done better. You should have done something to keep somebody during this pandemic, during the rioting and the looting and everything else going on in the world. You should have kept him here. You should have changed. You should have listened to him and listened to this other officer. Shame on you. We elected you, and we can recall.
Recall.
You see all these people?
1 month in,
We're
Joe.
here because we love that officer. He represents us. He represents this town. He has morals and standards.
Yep.
And he's left after 24 years. He could have retired. He could have got his pension. He could have gotten out. But where'd he go? He left. He didn't retire. You should have done better. Do better. Just do better. Show us that you care about us and our taxes and our values for this little town. 4 generations, and I'm ready to pick up and leave. Cause I'm embarrassed to say that I'm from here right now.
Corruption.
Amen.
Please, do better. Listen to the new board members. Take into account the old boys club, out the door,
Yes.
or recall.
It's an embarrassment.
John, come on.
John Jacoby, W2464 Leisure Way. First I'll address some agenda items before we go into anything else. Specific to the open records requests and charges, our ordinance 2.105.040 sub 6 sub E states there shall be no charge for locating a record unless the actual cost therefore exceeds $50, in which case the actual cost shall be determined by the legal custodian and billed to the requester. So it is unclear to me how to interpret that, if we are charging per page, per copy, if we're charging $5 per
It's
request.
different than a search fee.
So that's what I'm thinking, and my recommendation would be to clarify this ordinance if possible, if the emphasis is locate.
That's exactly what state law says.
So okay, thank you. My recommendation is still that we should probably clarify this ordinance, because it does say not to exceed 50, and we are still charging for things that are less than 50. I get what you're saying,
Right.
but what I'm saying is that it is not 100% clear.
Okay.
Regarding Beach Road Bridge, on the critical list, my questions are, when was this communicated, to whom, from who, and what assessment was performed by who, to come to this conclusion? I'm just curious, so when it comes up, I'd like to know how we got here, the history of it. In regards to it's not necessarily on the agenda, but I still wanted to bring it up over here, because Michelle's also here, to the Communications Committee. There's an ad hoc communications committee that was brought up at the annual meeting, that was brought up by Chairman Klarkowski. I volunteered and was accepted to be a part of it. I'm happy to do it. If it comes to pass, I'll perform to the best of my ability. I do have some concerns, though, paradoxically, about how this group was formed, and who was picked to be on this group. Chairman Klarkowski appointed everyone on the group, but without town board discussion or approval. And such, it doesn't really have much authority or direction or purpose. That is still sort of TBD. I also think it's awkward for me as a member of this group that is being co-chaired by a married couple that had emailed me, and they had requested to be recognized together as like a we, like they're the same person. And so I feel like there's no way that they can be impartial if they're two members of an ad hoc committee that are already requesting to be communicated to together. It's weird to me. And it just seems like maybe this committee is not necessarily currently set up to succeed. And so my preference, if I'm allowed to have one, is that a committee like this would be something that's discussed amongst the town board before it starts meeting, that its membership, the reason why those people are picked, the purpose of this group, I think it'd be more effective if it was more clear before the group was formed and sort of sent to task. I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to help however I can, but I guess that's just my current opinion on it so far of what's happened. And then lastly, in regards to Craig Knotts, it's weird because I feel like I do empathize and I understand that staffing issues are predominantly and legally need to happen in closed session. I have experience with that. I understand it. I don't love it, but that is the way that it is. So I get it. I totally get it. However, he's effectively trying to blow a whistle on something, and he left after 24 years. I think because he has high moral standards, and the board, I think you guys have a real opportunity here to approach this situation in a progressive and sort of informed, in a newer kind of way, that really, maybe I'm being dramatic, but it kind of could influence an entire nation of good cops that, maybe need to come forward to discuss the way that they feel about their leadership. I mean, this is sort of unprecedented, not just for the town of East Troy, but kind of everywhere right now.
Preach it.
And so, state statute 60.24 sub 1 sub 6 states that one of the duties of a town board chairperson is assuring administration of statutes relating to the town and town operations, to see that they are faithfully executed. And so we have a situation where a staff member may not be faithfully executing the ordinances in the administration of our town. And I think that that's really severe. I think that the allegations, the situation is dire, frankly. And the folks that are asking for an immediate investigation, I don't think that that's unreasonable. And we're talking about ethics, we're talking about decision making, we're talking about a lot of things that come into question once the ethics part of it becomes the emphasis and the priority. And so I really don't think that it's, like, at this point we have a staff member who may possibly be a high risk to taxpayers in the event that we end up with legal action. I know you know this, but I think it needs to be said. And so there are folks that are asking for suspension. That's also not off the table. It's not unheard of. And frankly, if it was me in this position, I would likely excuse myself from the meeting, because it's hard to sit at the table and be taken seriously when these are the allegations that are happening, that are coming in. And so, these are just my opinions. I mean no disrespect, but I think that this could be handled much, much better than it is. And we're setting really bad examples of direction for the rest of the year, the 2 years that y'all are gonna be here. Thank you.
I think your questions about Beach Road will be answered, and the Communications Committee, of course, that's on the agenda here as part of the appointments, and I'll explain that also. Your address?
I'm Hunter Albrecher, N9130 Ash Street, East Troy. Just one thing I had, before the burning ban took place, 2 years ago or whatever, I had a bonfire at my house. It was 10 of us buddies are hanging out, having fun, and a firework got lit off, not anywhere near my house. And at the same time the firework went off, a cop drove by, clear as day, see that it wasn't at my house, pulled in because we were having a fire, and entered my property without our permission, and then harassed one of my buddies that are here tonight. And one of my buddies got thrown on the ground, put in handcuffs for no reason, and we're all asking Shad why are you arresting him? He did nothing wrong. And the county showed up, and the county cop told him to let him out of his car. You can't do this. And then multiple days later, I don't know if this was when the ticket came in the mail, or if I got a letter from the chief saying the next time the police are at my house, threatening me, saying the next time the police are at my house, I'm getting a $600, $700 ticket for going outside my own property that I pay for to have a fire and hang out with my friends. I'm 23 years old and I can't even do that here. That's disappointing. And I want legal action. I want to talk to an attorney and see why he got tickets that night, why everybody got tickets that night. And every time I walk outside now and the cop drives by, I cover my head. But before, I could at least hope it was Officer Knox driving past my house. But not anymore, because now you guys got him out of here. Now I'm scared to leave my house. After talking here, I'm afraid I'm gonna get followed around all over the place.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah.
You will. You will. Weaponized police department.
But if it's what I gotta do to get my point across and help everybody else get their point across, do anything I can. Because I grew up on Pine Street in Miramar from 4 years old till 15. And all the officers were great back then. They all handed out baseball cards and stuff. I've known Knox ever since then. And when I came back, everything was great. And ever since I moved into my new house, other than my great neighbors, and Knox, well, I don't even wanna go outside after that.
That's awesome.
So, thanks.
Thank you. Public comments? No? Last, any agenda items? All right, going once, twice, okay, we're gonna move on. All right, reports to committees, chairperson's report. On April 13th, had a Tri-Troy meeting, and as I mentioned at the last meetings, we met with Dr. Hibner. He was part of our Tri-Troy group for a couple of months. We were just trying to help out, make sure that we got the word out as best as we could, to everybody. We also gave him information on what we were hearing. I mean, people would call me and say, they had some questions about the referendum, and I would get those questions to the school. And unfortunately, the referendum did fail in the two towns, town of Troy and town of East Troy, and it did pass in the village. Also met on April 27th with the Heritage and Library Boards. We've been doing that every month or two. Still investigating a true Troy library. We're gonna authorize Attorney Mills tonight to look at the agreement. So we're still meeting on that all the time. Again, that's the assisted living / library building on the current site is possible, but there's a lot of hurdles to pass yet with the land, etc. But that's all that the Heritage is dealing with, because they are doing a building plan regardless.
It's independent living.
Pardon me?
It's independent living.
Independent.
It's not assisted.
Is there okay, independent.
Sorry.
All right.
I get that all the time.
Yeah. Okay, also, I was notified that there was gonna be a State Trunk Highway 120 project in 2023 or 2024, and, it should not affect most of the town of reopening traffic. This afternoon, or near noon, Greg Tolmeyer, chief, and myself, went and looked at the speed bumps, on, East Shore Road. It's only been up for 6 days, so we wanna make sure everybody gets a chance to see how it works. We kind of resisted it, but the, property owners wanted to, they insisted on the speed bumps. And of course, speed bumps are not friendly to bicycles,
I'd like to know something, did that guy get his tailgate back?
Well, if he was driving 5 miles per hour, so anyway, we're gonna be looking at that. There is one place that we're gonna recommend, or actually we told, Greg Ray to order, one sign, a speed bump ahead one. All these have great visibility, it's low speed. I mean,
Why are they-
it's 15 miles per hour.
Why are they different than booth roads? Booths are round, these are triangle.
You have to stop before you go over.
Who's
You can't
authorized
roll over the speed bump.
Is there a
Oh,
road on
oh,
different
oh,
roads?
oh, what?
Why are booths so nice?
Well, they're different manufacturers. That's the only difference. Yeah, Steve,
Who's authorizing the speed bumps?
you did.
No, I did not.
Well, well, I'm saying, Tom Ward, we had several meetings on it,
When?
and,
Last time, okay.
yeah, and there was, again, there was multiple recommendations there, and Greg came up with, I thought, a pretty good plan, it looked very good.
Who's paying for the lawsuits when all the bicyclists wipe out?
Well,
I'm just asking, cause summertime, they all ride down there and
Yeah.
it's very dangerous.
the
for
whole
bicyclists.
idea is to slow down all traffic, and again, it starts at 15, the sign at
That's
the
not
bump
good
says is 5, and tell you what, the request was for the property owners to, and everybody lived there and said to do it, okay? So if they all change their mind,
So
guess
the
what?
10 or 12 people that live there get to decide for the whole town.
Well,
You guys took the recommendation of 5 to 10 people on speed bumps.
I'm not sure how many people there was quite a few, okay?
Yeah, it's like the town hall.
All right. John, do you have a quick one?
I do. So when we were first talking about those speed bumps 6-8 months ago, or whenever it was, I don't expect you to remember, but my comment during that discussion was specifically mentioning the ones that were in front of Boothway, and then being all the way across the road,
Right.
with no room for bicycles, with no room for strollers.
Correct.
And your comment was that you would look into it.
Right. Not right.
That your comment was also that those were in the town and not the town of Troy and not the town of East Troy, and that I should know more about what I was talking about. But
I didn't say
my
that.
point is, let me finish. The point is that I did try to bring this up preemptively as a concern, because they were already a concern in the town of Troy. And what we ended up with is actually worse than what the town of Troy has. And so this is a situation where, like, as a piece of feedback for the board, we're trying to help. We are trying to give feedback when you ask for it and during the time when you want it. But then when nothing happens, and we see that we knew it, we called it, we predicted it was going to happen, and what else are we supposed to do? Like, we need to know how to communicate with you effectively so that you listen to us.
Well, yeah, it's been up 6 days. Okay?
That's not the point.
Replace Joe with a different chairman with it.
It's been up 6 days,
That's not the
and
point.
we respond to, questions. As a matter of fact, one came in, from John,
Vinny?
yeah, John Finney. And, we looked at it today, and we are gonna make some adjustments, and again, it was an insistence by the people to slow the traffic down there.
Well, then why don't we have?
It worked.
But we're patrol.
It's something.
We're insisting on being different and better. How do we make that happen?
If you got any comments that you have on that, just send it to me or the chief, and we'll respond to it.
Send your comments to the chief.